All right, Uber, Q1, Jason, revenue, $11.53 billion, 83 cents per share in earnings. Monthly active customers, 14% growth year over year. Trips,
Amazing.
18%.
Wow.
14% revenue growth year over year, 17% in constant currency. And the company had $1.8 billion in net income, $1.9 billion in adjusted EBITDA, and this blew my mind, free cash flow in the quarter of $2.25 billion, up 66% year over year. So naturally, Wall Street hated it and sent the shares down a couple of points.
Yeah, it's down $2. The thing is, it had a crazy run up the last week, which I was out of town and, I don't check it every day, but I was like, wait a second, like a month ago, we were down in the 65 zone. And then all of a sudden we almost hit the record high. 87 is the record high for Uber. And it hit I think in intraday trading, 86.50 or something yesterday.
It was over 86. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's basically, I think the consensus is that this company has geographic distribution. And obviously I'm talking my book here, but they have geographic distribution. They have business resiliency because they're in multiple business lines, freight, rides, food, and delivery. And they're adding some more. I won't talk about those, but they keep adding other services. Let's leave it at that. I have talked about some of them, but the other issue is robo-taxis. Would they get killed by robo-taxis? And I think people answered that question with Waymo is having a spectacular time in Austin with Uber. The utilization of Ubers in Austin is 99% more utilization than human drivers. In other words, if these Waymos are doing probably 15 rides a day is my guess, maybe they could hit 20. There aren't many drivers. 99 out of 100 drivers don't do that. What that means is wait times are going to go down and the availability is going to go up. If you live outside of Austin, you might wait 10 minutes to 20 minutes for an Uber. Everybody's had that experience when they're on vacation or they're out of a city center. You're going to have the city center experience of what we called Uber Unos back in the day. I came up with this term for when you get one in 1 minute. And I would always send a picture to Travis and William and Ryan, like, oh, I got an Uber Uno. 1 minute. And, one time, like the person was across the street. I ordered it. They were across the street dropping somebody off. It was like a great experience. They also did the Volkswagen deal. They're now up to like 15 partnerships with autonomy companies. The Volkswagen deal is going to be the game changer, I predict. Volkswagen is the number 2 car producer in the world. We're going to need 10 to 20 million cars per year for a decade to put a dent into the number of rides people want to take. What that means is no one company. Tesla does 1.7 million cars a year. I think Volkswagen, we pulled it up last week, right? 15 million cars a year. Toyota, 25 million cars a year, something like that. There's 70 million cars produced per year. It's just going to take a long time, folks. And so the idea that one company is going to run away with it and one region is going to run away with it, Uber's in, I think, 20,000 major cities. So, the rollout is going to be tedious and hard, as we're seeing with the Zoox accident. And you're talking about doing these rollouts in thousands and thousands of cities with different regulations. The Volkswagen bus, I think, will be the number one. What they call it, the ID bus. They should just call it the Volkswagen bus because that's what it is. It's a cool car.
It's big.
It's awesome. It's got like 7 seats.
Have you seen it?
It has sliding doors. I've seen it. I haven't seen it in person yet, but I have seen it all over.
It's big.
You're talking about like 2 captain's chairs, and then a 3-person bench. The captain's chairs can move around, but you can easily get to the 3rd bench because the second row is 2 captain's chairs, like you can get on a Model X with Tesla. That configuration is 7 people. So there it is. And it's a beautiful car. These things are going to be everywhere, and robo-taxis will be everywhere. Waymos will be everywhere. And Waymo just did a deal with Toyota to provide their self-driving cars.
Yeah, that's another part of this story is all of the self-driving partnerships. I mean, you mentioned Volkswagen. Just this year, Uber's also announced deals with Pony AI, WeRide, Momenta, May Mobility, Waymo, and NVIDIA. So, that's all happening simultaneously.
Yeah, their partnerships team is working overtime. Send them more coffee, somebody. But Jason, to your point about the number of cars that we need, I know we're talking about drops in the bucket here, but stories in the last, I think, 2 or 3 days had Zoox ramping up production of its cars and also Waymo working to expand its fleet of 1,500 Jaguar I-Paces or whatever they're called. But we're seeing momentum right now to get from triple to, 4 digits. And then I think we'll be at 5 digits probably by the end of this year. Well, of course, we still need to, 100x that. But
when you say 5, you mean 10,000 or more cars.
Yes.
Which, if they're doing 20 rides a day, is not a drop in the bucket. Currently, ride sharing is 1% of rides. here in the United States, or slightly less. And then globally, it's less than 1%. So I believe we get to 30% of rides, 20 to 30% of rides in 10 years is my estimate.